You're listening to the Precision Shooting Podcast, discussing all aspects of precision and long-range rifle shooting. This episode is brought to you by Impact Dynamics. And now, over to your hosts.
Hello and welcome to the Precision Shooting Podcast. My name is Rusty, and joining me on this special episode, Nick Halliwell. How are you, sir?
Hola, very good.
Good, mate. Good to see the accent's coming along well. You've been working on that for a while?
Yeah, that took me a whole 5 seconds to figure out in my head. A lot of thought went into that.
I was going to say, keep working, keep working, mate. Now, Nick, thanks for coming in. You're the man behind Ignition Custom Engineering, and you haven't been on this podcast. Well, you've been on from time to time in short bursts, but your last session coming into this room and chatting was about 2.5 years ago.
Goodness gracious!
You were our 4th ever guest.
Okay,
and
my lucky number's 4 now.
Really,
yeah, it is now.
There you go. So, wow, that's worked well. And so we're now here, and 2.5 years later for you, I'm sure plenty of things have changed. I don't even remember what we talked about all those years ago.
Probably something firearms related. Yeah. At a guess.
Or
my awesome ability at throwing rocks. One of the two.
Well, we did just record the Coin Toss podcast, and it's good to see your throwing has not improved, but
consistency is key. Consistency.
this is the thing. But we've had what a bump a couple of years in the shooting realm, and particularly in what you're involved with. In all sorts. So give us a rundown of the last few years.
The last few years.
What's been some highlights for you?
A lot of greys in my beard's coming on because of stress, but I've still got a full head of hair. I haven't pulled it out. No, it's the firearms industry for us has been going in leaps and bounds. So the first time we were on the show, we probably had design in action, but we hadn't talked about it. We've had that on the slate for quite a while.
Sure.
Obviously now we've got our own actions. We're up to Series 3, which we're about to release very, very shortly. Hopefully within the next couple of days, we should have them released. I should have brought one down, but unfortunately I didn't. So we've got our own actions that we've been doing. We're doing left and right titaniums. We've got a few other little products coming out very shortly as well, beginning of next year.
Okay.
Working with a few other suppliers, working quite well. So we deal with our precision rifle products. We've dealt with Oztech Arms. We partner quite well with Swan Barrels up in Queensland, a couple of the gun shops around as well. So we deal with Delta Tactical quite closely. So the industry is for us is been going quite well, so that the company's expanded in ways that I never would have thought. But it's been quite good.
And one thing I know I've noticed since your last podcast with us in the last couple of years is you are shooting more now than you did back then.
Yes.
Yeah, which is like, normally it goes the other way, and I'm sure it went that way with you when you started. Like you shoot a fair bit, or you shoot quite often.
Oh, I hardly ever shoot at all. I used to hardly ever shoot at all.
Yeah, but then you start your business and you're in the shooting business, and then you shoot less and you shoot less and you shoot less to the point where you virtually don't shoot.
Yeah.
And then I've seen you go sort of consciously put effort in.
Yeah.
Yeah, over the last at least year and a half of shooting much more regularly.
We took I took a very specific business philosophy on that for myself. Obviously, we've got a bunch of guys, and we're actually looking at expanding very shortly with a few more workers. But I've taken a very conscious effort to try to talk with people who are shooting actively.
Yep.
And go out there and see what they want and see what they're trying to use. Because don't get me wrong, looking at photos online of guns and looking at reviews of stuff is fantastic, and it's we do that all the time, trying to get a lot of our knowledge up.
Sure.
So I'm always looking at, best thing about working for yourself is when you look at gun stuff, you're allowed to. You can't get caught at work going, stop looking at gun things. My wife comes in and goes, have you looked at enough gun blogs today? I'm like, I think I better do it a bit more. So that's always good. But trying to keep my finger on the pulse and actually see what people want. And the best thing about that was just going out and shooting. So dealing with hunters and everything else is a lot of what we do. But actually going to competition, I said, this PRS thing was so different. I said, I want to do this bit of fun and something different. And it gave me a weekend away where I'm not working like 8 days a week. So I actually got a couple of days off. So, it hurt me coming back, put me behind by a few days. But no, it's actually been quite enjoyable getting out and shooting a lot more. And it's the only sport I've ever been involved with where everybody is happy to lose. Like even though that people can have a bad stage, they sort of sit back and relax and reflect. But after that, everyone cracks a joke, comes up, says a swear word or whatever else, and then just dig the heels in and they have fun. Like everybody's really happy. even not winning. So that's the one thing I've noticed about the shooting sports in general. You can have a bad day and everyone seems to be really happy regardless. At the end of the day, you have a beer and it's great.
Yeah, okay. And do you find that that's present in other shootings? I know you've shot a bit of shotgun as well.
Yeah,
and
I shot
pistol
shot quite a lot of shotgun. I actually shot nothing professional with shotgun, but I did qualify for B grade a couple of years back, but I sort of went away from that. Shot pistol quite aggressively for quite a while, but a lot of reloading time, like shooting, between 800 and 1,000 rounds a week. I just can't keep up with it. It was just too hard.
Yeah.
So I got out of IPSC. I shot ISSF. I think my current record was like 5. What did I shoot? Like a 5.14.
I have no idea what that means.
Out of 600, if you
okay.
If you're shooting anything above about a 5.25, you're doing pretty well.
Okay.
So one of the guys I shot against in the club, he actually qualified for the Commonwealth Games, and he was pretty much the only guy at the club who could beat me consistently. But it was just too hard to keep practicing 2-3 times a week and, trying to get all the customers' jobs done, professional root shooters and things. Work had to come first on that aspect. So, so I've shot my hand at a couple of different things. But yeah, I've sort of always come back to PRS purely because it's convenient. It's a good time frame. I don't have to shoot every weekend. There's no interclubs. It's convenient. Well, no interclubs at the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe if Butters is listening, he might hear something. Give him an idea. But so I've tried a couple of different things, and I've sort of just come back to rifle. I find it a good challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess one of the things of being present at shoots is, you can watch photos, look at photos and read about it and this sort of gear. But I'm sure that the little issues that happen everywhere in terms of comps or whatever with guns feeding or whatever, they can be feeding or any other, but often those little things get neglected in, like someone does a review of the match for themselves. They'll talk about the big problems they had, the targets they hit, that one target that they missed or stage they stuffed up, but they don't necessarily tell you the little things. But when you're there, you could see them in the moment. Surely that helps.
It does. The one thing that I've picked up very recently from the last match we had at Buchan, and I was going to say thank you to the guys who hosted us over at Buchan, man. That was it was a good event again for the finale. It was awesome. The weather sucked, but that's what made it so good. The one thing that I did take away, bolt handle length. The actual length of the bolt handle and the way different people manipulate the bolt differently.
Okay. Tell me more.
I've got if anybody doesn't know, I've got a pretty goofy finger on me. So my finger's been cut. So I don't know if you can see that, but I pretty much cut my finger off. So
your finger's messed up.
Yeah, it is. It's really hard to hold a beer with. So Andrew, block your ears. I actually drink a beer left-handed because it makes it easy for me. I'm never going to hear the end of that. So yeah, it's when I manipulate the bolt, I tend to rotate. I keep my fingers in line and I fan. I'm trying to, for those people watching, it's very hard, but I actually, I fan my wrist upwards. So I don't actually grab the bolt handle and move the whole bolt handle up. I actually fan my hand upwards and then roll my wrist and pull it back towards me.
Okay.
And that's a technique that I've just sort of had to come to terms with.
Yeah.
And obviously when I designed the Menil actions, the bolt handle is actually adapted for that. And that's why some people have gone, geez, the bolt handle, the throw and everything's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Because I've designed it for me and it's very, very hard to work around that. So for Series 3, we counteracted that and changed it.
Okay.
But yeah.
So the Menil actions, they're an action that you guys have made.
Correct. Yeah. We designed those from the ground up. So up to the 3rd generation, which is about to be released very shortly.
Yep.
So I'm currently shooting a Gen 1, Menil Series 1 in the PRS. That's the Chrome gun, if anyone's seen that. We call it the Terminator because Chrome Terminator, I don't know, someone named it. So I'm shooting a Series 1. We've had a couple of Series 2s out there.
Mm-hmm.
And next year there will probably be at least 2 Series 3s, we hope. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, so that's something we designed from the ground up and we have changed it. We keep evolving it ever so slightly with incremental changes, trying to figure out what shooters want, not just me, but figure out what actual customers want to see what works for them and try to engineer a way into it that's trying to, I mean, generally speaking, we can only please 80% at most. So we try to please that, 75 to 80%.
Yep.
And the other 20% are just left-handed. So
that's generous numbers for left-handed, to be fair. But now coming back to the bolt handle stuff, so you talked about you fan it, but you're noticing different. Yeah, and does it come down to like different styles? Come down to like different hands, different size hands, or different? What is it?
The first thing I noticed is, so if we take a step back, say about 3 years ago,
yep.
what I call is choking the stock or gripping the stock quite heavily. So people have a if you're right-handed, you'll have the your right thumb over the stock to the left-hand side.
Yeah, it's like a shotgun hold.
Pretty much. Yeah,
Yep.
a typical sort of hunter's hold.
Yep.
And they'll quite often choke the stock off, and that's fine, and it works quite well. But a lot of people apply it, from what I can tell, lateral pressure to the stock as they're trying to squeeze the trigger. They tend to grip it, and I've learned that from pistol. So you've got to have a good, consistent grip.
Yeah.
So one thing I noticed that people were just starting to get into chassis stocks a bit more frequently, and I was never a chassis stock fan. For some reason, they just never really fit me. I just couldn't come to terms with them. And I shot Macmillans for quite a while, and they were very, very comfortable for me. But the pistol grip I noticed was a lot more vertical. And it's something, because of the way my hand is, I very naturally, I find it, if I was to tip my wrist forwards a little bit so my thumb's in line with my forearm, I'm actually missing a couple of tendons in my arm. So it actually binds my arm up and I get arm strain very, very quickly. So if I'm shooting prone, it's very hard to move my wrist down. So I've got to keep my wrist in line with my forearm. So if I'm lying on the ground, it works really well. And so I saw the Macmillan stocks, and they had quite a fairly aggressive vertical grip on them, and that started working for me. By the time we got to the PRS, the official launch of the PRS series, a lot of people had adopted quite a vertical grip.
Yep.
And also their thumb being on the right-hand side. So I don't know where it all really came from. I think a lot of people developed it independently. Some people got training. Masterpiece Arms took advantage and actually released a vertical grip.
Yep.
So we saw this, sort of organically coming over time. And because of people's position of their wrist and their grip technique changing, I've been trying to look at different ways we can try to complement that. Because if you're running a swept bolt handle like a traditional Remington, or say a traditional ticker, they sweep backwards, and your finger, your pointer finger knuckle sometimes will interfere with that. And it's for me specifically it does, but a few people have noticed it. They said, "Oh, listen, if I put a big bolt knob on it when I close the bolt, if I'm getting in a barricade or running against something, it's just a slightly awkward position. I can feel the bolt knob on the back of my finger, and it's making it uncomfortable."
Yeah.
So a lot of people are getting to straight bolt handles, or some people are getting shorter ones, stubby ones. Some people are getting different. They're going away from the typical, like the really big, like beer can bolt knob. They're going for something a little bit more streamlined.
Yeah.
And that's something that, I've tried to pay attention to see what's going to be working for people and what's more ergonomic. So that's something I've been very conscious of. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, that's the cool thing about being there, is being able to put that attention to those details. And like, I know you shoot generally pretty well. I know you like to.
I'll give you that $20 later.
60. I know that you generally like to ensure everyone around you having a good time. Which is one of your key distinguishing features on the range.
Distinguishing features, okay. Yep. Yeah, I'll roll with it.
Is this still all appropriate language for you?
Yep, that's a polite way of putting it.
Yeah, no, but you certainly have good fun, and I know people who are in your squad, enjoy being in your squad. And I've shot with you now at our club locally, which I'm sure we'll get into at some point. But it is good fun. It's going to be a good fun day.
Never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment, and you're definitely the exception to some of the rules where you're not suggested to heckle other shooters and bits and pieces. But
it's all free.
Unless
it's all free game.
Then get stuck into it.
There's no such thing as golf where people hold a board that says "quiet, please." Someone does that, they get a walloping. So if you, the other thing is, as weird as it sounds, quite a lot of people can't shoot under stress or pressure. But there are other people who excel under stress and pressure.
Yeah.
And it's not that I take advantage of it, but if they can go bad and I can gain a spot, that's good for me. I'll take any advantage I can get. But no, I just enjoy myself.
But I've noticed you shoot better when you are relaxed like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, rather than if you get worked up on a particular stage and you go into a mode where you're not making jokes, or you're a little bit more contemplative and you're thinking it through.
I have to actually, as dumb. I mean, it's easy for me to do, but turn your brain off.
Yeah,
because you go into autopilot. A good example of this would probably be, from Victoria. Wonderful dude, really nice guy.
Yeah,
and he was in our squad. I've actually been with him the last 2 events.
Okay,
and watching his progress has been really good. He's all good. He knows what to do, and he gets to the line. And he can't turn his brain off. He overthinks and complicates everything to the point where he's having trouble running his bolt. His magazine change can be a bit fumbly. because he's unnaturally overthinking things. This is my interpretation of it. But
Mm.
speaking with him, but I keep trying to calm him down. It's like try to have a joke with him and put him in a different sphere. And the few times we're able to get through to him, he actually shoots very well. He's actually, I mean, he made it to the finale. He actually shoots quite consistently.
Mm.
But the biggest problem is as soon as he does something wrong or he misses and he's like, I should have hit that. Then he stops and just overcomplicates everything in his head, trying to figure out. And then he checks his dial, then he looks at his dove. And it's like, dude, you saw the shot landed. Just make a correction, just hold it and smack that tub and get your impact and just get it done. And he overthinks a little bit too much in my opinion. So I just try to banter with him and have a bit of fun because he's a great guy to be around. He's a top bloke. And I just want to see him do well because honestly, I think by the time he gets it together, he's going to outshoot me without a problem.
Yeah, and I think the same can be said for many shooters. Many things in life where you and I've learnt this more and more in shooting our local comps here, where if you start thinking it too much through or anything along those lines, you get to the stage start with your head full of plans and ideas and all that sort of thing going on. There's too much rattling around in there.
Yeah,
and
you start to doubt yourself, don't you?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and like I may do it differently to you, probably do, but when I'm preparing, so I generally spend like the one or two people in front of me, I spend that time preparing. So getting my data down, choosing my bags, looking at whatever I'm shooting. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, going to do that. And run through that multiple times prior to doing it.
Yeah.
But when I step on the line, I'm basically not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
And when I've actually been able to achieve that, and don't get me wrong, that doesn't happen all the time. But when you are able to stand there, the timer's about to go, and just like, yep, no, I've thought this through so many times now, I don't even need to think about it. And the beep goes, you're working first position, away you go, shoot, bang, and you take it in a position where you are relaxed and chilled.
Mm.
It just works so much better.
Well, you should be able to put your body and your mind almost into autopilot. You should be able to just get in a position, your fundamentals. I mean, crikey, if you're still trying to get your shooting techniques down, go to some club matches. When it comes to a decent ranked match or, a high-level club match where, they're looking at, saying, oh, we need to get some training because we're going to go to a big match, whether it be the Precision Service Rifle Series, which I'm really looking forward to actually trying to get in a few of those matches. Dude, they look awesome.
Yeah, they're good fun, certainly.
And obviously some PRH, some club matches.
Yes.
So I want to try to get around a few more of those as well, depending if we can.
Yep.
But you should be able to sit back and your body should almost be an autopilot. You know how to make an impact. If you miss a shot, you know how to do it. Even if you can't read wind, dump your first shot where you think it might land.
Yep.
And figure it out and make it cool, because if there's 10 points on the table, and you can go, the wind's consistent, it's blowing at, X kilometers, miles an hour, or knots, or, whatever units of measurement that you use.
Yes.
It's blowing at like 5 beard hairs an hour, whatever it might be.
The important stuff.
Yeah, all the good stuff. You should be able to, hopefully you should be able to spot your fullest shot. That's something we should probably go into after as well, about spotting your shot and how muzzle brakes work.
Yeah.
But then actually you should be able to make that correction and hold. If you miss, I missed, my dope's wrong. And then you drill one at exactly the same spot, you're an idiot. I mean, there's no polite way of saying it. You're just an idiot. I mean,
so how many times have you done that?
I've been an idiot many times.
I continue to be an idiot on a regular basis, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So you should be able to have your head clear enough that you see something. Like if you're going out, you're shooting rabbits or whatever it might be, you shoot a rabbit, that thing's going to be moving.
Yeah.
And you have to reevaluate your shot and you go, oh geez, the breeze is up, or, it's, I was going to expect 50 meters and I shot low. It's obviously 70 meters. You're going to pull that second shot and you're going to smash that rabbit right through the head. Unless you're Andy Nobes and you're not going to hit it at a mile. So there's no chance.
Oh, there's some smackdown going on.
I mean, unless you're Greg with a thermal, in that case, you don't even try.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. So I think that people need to rest and relax and not overthink things. That's something that I'd take away from shooting as much as I have recently.
Yeah.
That I've done a lot better by, when they go, all right, shoot it to the line. And I'm still trying to load my mags up. And he's like, shooter, are you ready? I'm like, do you like waffles? And then they just stop and they freeze and they look at me like, you're an idiot. I'm like, I might be an idiot, but I've still got my hair and I'm not bald. And the RAs just sit there dumbfounded and it's awesome. So just remember, if you want to...
that that's a technique for if you what was that? Did you hear a ding?
I did hear a ding.
Just heard a ding, and we're trying to work out what it was. There's an ice cream truck outside.
Ice cream. As I tell
Do you
my,
want ice cream?
I'll have an ice cream. You know,
let's-
I tell my kids when the bell rings, that means they're empty.
Quick, go. Let's go. You can do that. I'll get some money. We're going to go for ice cream. Well, there we go. The first time we've stopped the podcast to go and grab ice cream.
Can you have like an ice cream impact? Does that count?
I think we're about to have one.
All right. I don't know
Okay,
if you
so
can hear this, but we got a box.
well, yeah, we got an entire box of. Yeah, they don't sell individuals.
No,
ones.
they don't sell individuals.
So
So
is it-
we've got
What
the
have we
home ice cream. These are the 15 flavors, and have a guess what flavor I bought.
15 of them.
No, I actually asked for the chocolate coated eclair.
Wow,
Would you like a chocolate
I'd
coated
love
eclair?
one. Yeah.
There you go. I'll have a
So,
If any listener wants a chocolate coated eclair ice cream, hit us up and
Come here right now.
we'll tell you where to find the next ice cream van.
So, in the rush to make sure it didn't run away too quickly, because it took us a moment to work out what the thing was.
Dude, I'm out of breath running after that thing.
So I've said to Nick, "You run out, I'll get some money sorted."
Yep.
And then realised that my wallet was empty and the only cash I had was in our cash box.
Yep.
Now our cash tray opens up because I've lost the key by the iPad.
Oh,
So you log into the POS system, you press the button, and it opens up the cash tray. Right? There's no dramas.
Yep.
Except I don't know where the iPad is. I've got one iPad up there, and that's not the one that's connected.
and now he has a broken cash box.
And now if you look on the ground over there,
oh.
yeah. So I grabbed it
Okay.
out. You can manually open it from the back, and then when I put it back, it all just fell apart, and I gave up. And then you had cash anyway, so
So that's what Sam's trying to say. In the long roundabout sort of way,
I trashed the place.
he trashed a place and I had to pay money. So-
Right? Shall we put them on ice? Because we've got how many? We've got 15 of them.
yep, we've got 13 now. I've got 2 hands.
Oh, I'll go put them away.
All right.
You can do what Dave does on the Two Beers One Chat podcast and sing while I'm away if you like.
I sing like a cane toad.
So does he.
No. I'd love to tell a joke, but unfortunately the only jokes I know are ones that are probably unsavory for radio. All righty, there we go. We're all back and cold.
Yeah, that's well timed. Good. Oh, how many other podcasts apart from Ice Cream Social would you get ice cream eating live on air?
I don't know, but I've got a feeling the next coin toss one might have an ice cream on radio. You never know.
Ice cream themed
Yeah.
coin toss podcast. Well, normally I record the coin toss podcast about 5 a.m, so normally not ready for ice cream at that time of morning.
Oh, anytime's time for ice cream.
You're not wrong. So good. I don't even remember what we're talking about. We talked about bolt handles and some other such.
Heckling. If you're going to heckle someone, heckle a range officer. Because they are the easiest person to put off their game. They have no idea that they don't expect it.
Apparently, and I'm no security expert, but apparently that is a method that people can use if someone comes to like mug them or rob them or something. You ask the robber a ridiculous question, which usually
I'm never getting mugged.
baffles them enough that they lose whatever's going on.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not recommending people do that because I have no idea if it's effective or if it works. But I'm going to recommend you try it, Nick.
Okay. Next time I'm mugging someone, I'll see if they heckle me.
Well, speaking of which, we're going to the States next year.
That was one of the
it's
worst
unrelated.
segues I've ever heard.
Unrelated to getting mugged.
We are certainly going to the America. America is the greatest country in the United States. But yes, we will be there.
Yeah, and so we're obviously heading over for SHOT. And what are your travel plans, mate? I don't know where you're going and what you're doing. Apart from going to Vegas and going to SHOT and getting mugged. Or not getting mugged with your new technique.
Hopefully not getting mugged. Please excuse me, this ice cream is very delicious. So I'll be there for SHOT. Going over. I'll be there. I land in America on the 20th.
Okay.
So full itinerary is get in via San Francisco. No, it's actually Los Angeles, unfortunately. I have to go via Los Angeles. Not drinking their coffees because airport coffee is quite bad. Going to Las Vegas for a while. I'll be staying at a lovely casino. So I've got a bunch of guys we're going to be staying with.
Sweet.
I have to go. I'm getting down to Texas to meet a friend. And then I've got one or two other business stops along the way that we're going to try to finalise a couple of deals for the lovely guys in Australia. And then, back over. So I'll be spending 2 weeks or I think nearly 15 days in total. So,
Oh, where in Texas are you going?
just above Dallas.
Okay. Yep.
So in there. So
That's the week after shot, is it?
a few days after shot.
We'll be about a week behind you. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of the lovely benefits. One of the guys I'm going to go see is a class 3, and for those people playing at home, he gets to play with full autos. And
well, it's only you and me playing here. Everyone else is.
okay, fair enough. Well, the person I'm going with gets to play.
Yeah.
And apparently, he said he has a GE 134, commonly referred to as a minigun.
All right.
And
he said, play shooting?
He said, you too can play with it for $600. I said, how long does $600 buy me? He goes, about 30 seconds. I'm like, I like it. I don't $600 like it. So,
So if anyone is in Texas and has a minigun available for free, we'll take it up. Not Nick, but we'll take it up because we'll be in Texas about a week after you. We fly into the US on the 18th. On the Friday. We're going LA, but then transferring to Phoenix, where we shall be met.
Phoenix, Arizona? Yep.
Yeah, in Arizona, met by the Milkoviches, who we're going to be hanging out with for a couple of days to go and shoot one of the local matches there.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, which
really,
is
really good.
Really good. I mean, one of the goals of our trip is to go and shoot as many of the local club matches as we can. One, because there's not a PRS on while we're there.
Yeah, I was aware of that,
miss it by a week or two. But to be able to shoot the local matches there, which in terms of turnout can be quite large comparative to our matches here. So
the smallest match over there. Listening to I think it was Regina's podcast. She was saying one of the local club matches they had. They've only got 80 spots, and they have qualifying on the Friday with like 100 and something people rock up. So, and this is a local club event. I'm like, that's impressive.
So I think that's the club we're going to be shooting at on that weekend.
That's awesome. I'd love to go just to see how bad I'm compared to the next.
Well, I'm going with Butters, and so I'm expecting him to be okay and me to be horrible. That's my anticipated results.
So you're going to be the official magazine loader and bench warmer and the bag fluffer?
Even that, I'm not sure. Regina did say you can't get upset when I beat you.
And, I can still get upset. I just won't show it.
I did tell her that I would go into the porta potties and cry, which was a technique that she recommended in her podcast.
I think that needs a scientific study because, as she said, you can't be sad in a porta potty.
Well, I know. You're right. I know one person that did it at Buchan, and I'm specifically one person that did it, but I'm sure others did, not willing to admit it. So
maybe they need to shoot in my squad next time.
Why? So they spend all time in there crying?
No, just so I can heckle them for crying.
But anyway, so that should be really good. And then we're going to go up with Regina to Vegas, drive up there.
Yep.
And then from there we've got to stop in Colorado.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
I'm going to check in with the guys at Bison Tactical and play with some others, and then go. You remember Josh Goodwin?
I do.
I'm going to go hunting with Josh.
Ooh.
At least go shooting, but definitely hunting somewhere around Colorado.
Oh, okay. So is that on a private property?
I have no idea.
Okay, because I'm not very familiar. I'm familiar with some of the firearms laws. Like what sort of firearms are required because they have different seasons and quite a lot of their what they call waterfowl shotguns have to be limited to 3 shot. Everyone goes, can you modify the semi-auto to be 5 shot for Australia? And those suckers can't be converted. They're pretty solid. Right. So anyway, so I learned about that sort of stuff. I don't know about their seasons and how their tags work.
I don't think it's anything big. I think if we were going to go shoot and hunt, it would be what do they call it? Predator shooting. Okay, which I think is relative, depending on the location, a bit more open. But I don't know. The point is, we're going to go shooting there, and then come down to Oklahoma and catch up with a bunch of guys there, and hopefully get a match happening there.
Oh, some little scratch match.
Well, there's a number of clubs there who shoot regularly, so we're hoping one of those is on the weekend that will be there, and then head down to Texas and spend some time in Texas. About a week after that match in Oklahoma. Yep. From there to Texas, and about 8 days later we fly out. So it just depends on what matches are on where as to where we'll go. So we missed out on a match with Jonathan Berry by 2 days.
Jonathan Berry.
Jonathan, one of the directors of PRS over there.
Oh, okay.
He's one of them. He's a really, really good bloke. But he's like, I've got guns for you, ammo for you. Matches on the 12th. I'm like, sick. We fly out on the 11th. So Anyway, that's always going to be the way. No matter what it was, we're always going to miss out on something
Well,
by a day.
you can't do everything, so
No, you can try.
yeah. Me and one of the other guys, we did look at trying to attend a club match, and we were quite into that, but it sort of took a wayside knowing that I probably wouldn't even pass the qualifying day. I'm not taking a gun over. I wasn't prepared to do that sort of stuff, but it's actually about, obviously I am there for work, so work's paying for it. So we need to figure out what products are coming out, what's coming over. So
totally. And
I'm going to try to get a sneaky shoot in. I didn't shoot. I was in Vegas beginning of this year in January.
Yep.
Depends when this podcast comes out, but the 2018 Vegas SHOT Show, I was there.
Yep.
Didn't shoot a gun the whole time. Had plenty of opportunity to.
Yes.
But it didn't coincide with our, sort of the time, the itinerary, and what we were trying to achieve. So it just didn't sort of work. But this time we're actually spending a couple of days going to a couple of people's factories and checking out their products. And they've actually said, "Oh, you guys in Australia, you've never shot a gun like this before, have you?" I'm like, no, never have, not once. I'll come and shoot your guns.
Yeah, last time we were there, we got to shoot. With Felipe from Owen's Armory. He just took us out in Vegas, not in Vegas, outside of Vegas, in Nevada, and we just went for a shoot, just 6mm Creedmoor. It was good fun, but nothing flash. I think that's all the shooting I did.
What's your unicorn gun you'd love to shoot, but you probably never will? Everyone's got to have a unicorn gun.
What's yours while I think of mine?
I've actually got quite a few off my bucket list, so I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
The main one I'd love to do, H&K MP5 SD.
Right.
Mainly because they're just such a crazy little item, and a Chris Vector.
Okay.
Funnily enough, I actually want to feel what the recoil pulse is like, because it's such a weird, unique sort of item. I shot plenty of semi-autos. I've shot full autos.
Yeah.
Grenade launchers and whatever else in the military, and I've shot suppressors. That really doesn't bother me. And I've shot, crikey, just about every handgun in Australia, I think. So I get to play with something very unique very shortly, a very unique handgun.
Okay.
So that's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah.
We've actually got some Hudson pistols. Second custom, the only two in Australia. So it's taken us nearly a year to get them over.
Right.
So
what's special about